What's up you guys, my name is Mina. Welcome to my channel Mina Reads, and today I want to tell you guys about some books by women of color that really changed my life. So this video is very kindly being sponsored by Ana Luisa for Women's International Day, and Ana Luisa is a New York based sustainable jewelry company. I really love Ana Luisa and their brand ethics. They're currently offsetting 100% of their carbon emissions. So this is starting from the sourcing of their raw materials all the way to the disposal of their pieces. They are a very environmentally conscious brand, and I really love that about them. I love being able to support a company that is aware of its impact on the environment and is actively working to ensure that their company's practices are not having harmful impacts on the environment, because our environment is so important. If you're looking for a sustainable, environmentally conscious, ethical brand, I would definitely recommend checking Ana Luisa out. They have amazing high quality jewelry, and for me, as someone with like really sensitive skin, my skin is so sensitive that even my glasses have started to have like a weird effect on my skin around my nose. So my skin is so sensitive to literally everything, but I've had no problems with this jewelry. It's so great for me and it's just so beautiful. I love it so much. So the quality is really exceptional. These are long-lasting jewelry pieces and they are so beautiful. I personally am definitely a gold jewelry kind of girl, so for this particular video they were kind enough to send me some gold chains. This is their Michelle set that I'm wearing right now, and I absolutely adore it. I've had my eye on it for ages, but yeah, I really love this necklace and it's just so gorgeous and wonderful. Okay, and in the rest of the video, I don't know if you can see this actually, but in the rest of the video you will actually see me wearing this necklace as well, and I stacked this necklace with some of the chains from this set and it looks really cute together. But this is the Mish necklace, and I got this because it reminds me of Jade City, because this is like a little jade gem and it reminds me of Jade City, which is one of my favorite books ever. So yeah, that's why I got that. That's what you'll see me wearing in the rest of the video. I really love Ana Luisa. I think their pieces are really amazing and I've been obsessed with their jewelry for months, so I'm excited to be able to share this with you guys. So remember that you can use my code MINAREADS10 to get 10% off your order. Also, they do have a 365-day warranty if that's something that, you know, concerns you. Yeah, I just want to thank Ana Luisa so much for sponsoring this video. Click the link in my description and use the code MINAREADS10 for 10% off your order. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get into these books. If y'all know me, you guys know that I'm really a romance reader, and the first book that I'm going to tell you guys about is a romance that had a profound impact on me, and that book is Something Like Love by Christina C. Jones. This book is a wonderful short little romance novel about these two bisexual black people who live in this really wonderful tight-knit community called Mahogany Heights, where that's full of black businesses and black love and black culture, and it's just so wonderful. And I absolutely adored this book because we follow these two characters, Eddie and Astrid, as I mentioned, two bisexual black people, and Eddie is a tattoo artist and Astrid is a yoga instructor, and basically they don't really like each other. There's a little bit of a hate to love vibe there. But I love this book because I think Eddie and Astrid, they're such a great couple. They just match each other so well, and their interactions, their banter, and the way that they just vibe together is just immaculate. I really love them. But the reason that this book for me personally was so life-changing is because this was the first time I had ever read a romance that featured a black bisexual woman, and it meant so much to me as a black bisexual woman to be able to see myself represented in that way in the pages that I'm reading, and to be able to read a romance where this woman is loved and cherished and appreciated for who she is, and she's very loud and outspoken, and she is who she is and she makes no apologies for it. And it was just so wonderful and rewarding as a black bisexual girl to be able to read this book and just, I don't know, feel seen and loved vicariously through the pages, I guess, which sounds so corny, but it really meant a lot to me, and I can't thank Christina C. Jones enough for writing this book. It's just so fun, it's so sweet, it's so cute and hilarious, and I would highly recommend it if you're just looking for a nice romance to read. And yeah, it's so good. Eddie and Astrid are life, and I would read a million books about them if I could. So the next book that I have to discuss with you guys is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This book follows our 28-year-old protagonist, Grace Porter, and she is an astronomer who has just recently finished her PhD. To celebrate finishing her PhD, she goes to Vegas and has a wild and crazy night from which she wakes up hungover and apparently married to a woman that she can barely remember. And we follow Grace as she becomes closer with her new wife, as well as navigating some severe existential angst after finishing her degree and trying to figure out what her next steps are going to be, where she's trying to go career-wise, where she encounters a lot of systematic racism that it doesn't enable her to move forward in her desired field the way that she would want to. We follow her as she makes and breaks connections with lots of different people. We follow her as she navigates friendships and new love, and also just her own mental health. And I think that this book was so great because it really spoke to me, because Grace is a character who is experiencing intense academic burnout, and she has these really high standards of herself and who she needs to be and how she needs to go about being successful and what success looks like. And she is working herself to the bone to be successful, and she is just going through it. And I just really appreciated being able to read this story about a character who is going through it, who doesn't have her life together. But this story doesn't shy away from how hard it is to be a 20-something, trying to figure out your life, trying to figure out your career path, trying to figure out how to take care of yourself, how to love yourself and appreciate yourself no matter your failings or your successes. And I just really loved Grace as a protagonist. The writing in this is absolutely stunning, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who's suffering with a little bit of existential angst. If you need that extra kick to show you that you deserve love and you deserve to be happy and you deserve to feel good about yourself. And it also gave me that extra push that I needed to really kind of address and accept the fact that, like, needing help with your mental health is not bad. Needing help, needing community, needing family around you to make you feel safe and happy and cared for, there's nothing wrong with that. And I really love the fact that this book made me feel like that. It made me feel safe. It made me feel so seen in terms of the academic expectations, in terms of feeling like you don't know where you're going with your life, but also knowing that you deserve good things. And Grace finds out that she deserves those good things, and she has so many good things and so many wonderful people in her life. And this is just so great. If you love a found family, you will absolutely adore this, so I'd highly recommend it. So the next book that I want to tell you guys about is a memoir, and it's called Hunger by Roxane Gay. This narrative is about Roxane, and it's about her relationship with food, with her body, and how her relationship to food and her body has evolved over time. She encounters a lot of different trials and tribulations in her life, and specifically this book kind of navigates how Roxane, she was assaulted when she was a young girl, and how that assault really shaped how she felt about her body, and later how that affected how she viewed food and how she viewed food as a comfort to her, and how her love of food and her dependence on food changed her body. And this really is a great book to read, just because of the way that Roxane is so candid and open and honest about her feelings, about her experiences as a plus-size woman, about her experiences with her assault, and just life in general. It's very hard and heart-wrenching to read, but it's a really wonderful book, and I think that Roxane Gay was just brilliant in navigating all of the themes that she tackles in this book, and she's so open and honest and just candid about her experiences. So I would definitely recommend it as a memoir, and it really changed my life and really opened my eyes a lot to the way in which society views plus-size people, and the way that maybe as a skinny person you might take for granted certain things that plus-size people have to go through. So I definitely think that it was really an eye-opening experience for me. It was wonderfully written, and it was just really brilliant, so I would highly recommend it. And after that, I want to recommend another memoir that was equally as impactful and important to me, and that was In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. And this memoir is about the author and her experience in a same-sex relationship where her partner was emotionally abusive. And so this story is really about this house that represents all of the abuse and the torment that she experienced in this certain period of her life. And I think that Machado's writing is just really stunning. One of the most beautifully written books that I've ever read, probably. This book was really important to me because I think it's important for queer women to be able to recognize and identify problematic behaviors in their partners. It sheds light on how abuses and harms can take place within queer relationships, and how maybe that abuse doesn't look the way abuse may look in a relationship between two straight people, and how it's important to be able to identify when your partner is mistreating you, when you are being abused, when your relationship is toxic, and when you maybe need to ask for help and get out of that situation. I think it's really important for queer people to understand that and have these conversations within our community about abusive relationships and about healthy relationships, what a healthy relationship looks like and what is unhealthy. And so I think that this book is just a really great place to start, and I commend Machado for being able to write this memoir. It is so beautifully written, so honestly told, and I would highly recommend it. So please read it. So the next book that I want to talk to you guys about is The Wicker King by Kay Ancrum. This is a YA contemporary novel. So this is about these two high school students, Jack and August, and they are in this very intense friendship, and we follow August as he attempts to support his friend Jack, who has recently begun seeing things and having hallucinations. And so he is trying to support Jack and take care of Jack, almost to the detriment of himself. And this is a story about a very intense, codependent, and toxic friendship. And I think that this book is maybe one of the most interesting stories I've ever read. Kay Ancrum is just a brilliant writer, and I think that the way that she tells this story is really fascinating, particularly because there's a lot of mixed media elements to the story. So we learn a lot about the characters through little notes that they send, through their playlists and mixtapes that they make for each other. And these two characters are just so interesting. Their relationship is so complex and it's so fucked up, but it's so compelling and fascinating. And this is a story where you really want these two people to get help. It's merely a story of these two teens who really only have each other to lean on. And when they don't have the outside help of parents, guardians, teachers to support them, the things that they do to support each other, and how that devolves into them having a codependent and toxic relationship. This book is just so brilliant in so many ways, and I can't begin to describe that to you. It's just like, it's very weird, and it feels really magical in a way, because we have Jack experiencing these hallucinations, and he kind of sees this fantasy world almost, and he builds this whole narrative around it, and it's really interesting. I don't think I'm describing it well, but I would highly recommend this if you are interested in reading a story about a very nuanced and complicated relationship between two teen boys and how they navigate these really difficult times. I would highly recommend it. I think it's one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Definitely one of my top favorite books of all time. And the last book I want to talk about is going to be The Color Purple by Alice Walker. This book follows a character named Celie. We basically follow Celie as she is married off by her family to this abusive man, and she is forced to take care of him and his children. This story is so beautiful, so heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, as we see all of the injustices that Celie is facing, and the way that she navigates them is truly commendable. It's a really hard book to read. It's very traumatic in a lot of ways, but I think what makes this book so amazing to me is that Alice Walker was able to write this story that is so difficult, so horrible and hard to read, and she's able to imbue it with a lot of hope as we see Celie grow up, grow more confident, more outspoken about what she wants, what she needs, what she deserves in life, as well as seeing her enter this really impactful and beautiful relationship with a woman named Shug. And this book just means so much to me. I think that Alice Walker is a brilliant writer, truly brilliant, and I love what she does linguistically, because in the beginning of the story, Celie is illiterate and very uneducated, and so the words on the page really reflect that, as Celie is our narrator. So the words really reflect Celie and, you know, her limited vocabulary, and basically it's so fascinating to see the way the syntax and the writing of the book changes as Celie becomes more educated and more confident. And I just think that this is a really brilliant book. I would highly recommend it if you haven't read it already, but this is kind of a modern classic, so I assume that a lot of people have read it. But if somehow you haven't, please do. It's really brilliant, very heartbreaking, but wonderful, and I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, those were just a few books by women of color that have really changed my life, and I would highly recommend them to any of you. I want to again thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video, and you can check them out in the link in my description below. So happy Women's International Day, everybody, and I hope you're having a good day.